some white people were talking about a situation where a couple of black kids chased a white kid and they chased him into traffic. He ended up getting hit by a car and dying. And that was a definite apples and oranges situation because those kids went to jail. George Zimmerman went home. But in the same sense, in this situation, a couple of young black kids chased a young white kid into traffic. The kid died. Those kids were apprehended and they went to jail. But no one counted that. When you're taking score, you don't count that one. See, this is why all that Black Life Matters crap is just that. Because I don't want to see nobody's kid die unnecessarily. Like certain people, they deserve what comes to them.
But you know, I mean, just with all of the recent things that have happened, right? But
again, we've got to. This is why I started off saying what I'm saying. Be able to put things into two different categories.
Right.
This is one crazy dude. The situation with the police, that's a systematic thing.
Exactly.
Crazy people gonna do crazy things.
And again, you know, for me, when it comes to this news thing, I'm always able to separate. I'm always able to do that, right? And so with this, when I saw this morning when I got up, you know, I didn't even think, you know, I mean, I didn't think about the Black Lives Matter movement. I just thought about, damn, like, you know, because when I woke up and turned the TV on, they were like, yeah, we had active terrorism right here, you know, in, you know, in our own backyard, you know, and, you know, they started talking about the story. So I was like, well, damn, you know, like this dude just killed 9 people, like, or however many people it was at the time. I'm like, damn, you know, but I know that there is a segment of Black people, and I would like to, and I would preference and say that it's the younger, the younger Black people, you know, they automatically jump into the whole. I mean, you know, they're based on the recent things that we've seen, and just like you said, one thing is a police situation. This right here was just an act of terror, just straight up. It was just an act of terror. But you know, sometimes people get it confused. You know, and I'm not going to blame them for, you know, getting it confused. But, you know, there is definitely a difference between the two. I mean, you know, when somebody, and like I say, I always feel like church, and just to correct something that we were just saying, because Matt just said that the guy at World Changers was a former employee. So he was like a disgruntled employee.
Yeah, I thought it was some sort of personal thing in that.
So he was disgruntled. You know, growing up, man, I mean, because, you know, my grandparents lived up in Cartersville, Georgia, up in the country. So going to church, you know, again, I never feared, like, in church something happening. You know, and this is not the first time that something has happened in church. You know, I mean, right here in Atlanta, Martin Luther King's mom got killed in church. You know, like I said, this World Changers guy got, you know, so it's not like it hasn't happened.
But even on smaller scales, I've never understood that. I've never, like, if a church gets broken into and people say, oh, my God, that's the most terrible thing. Well, everybody don't believe in what you believe in. To them, it's a building with a cross on it. Everybody don't believe in the sanctity of a building. So if it comes down to breaking in somewhere, it could be a house, it could be an apartment, it could be a damn church. The assumption, the arrogant assumption of so many of the religious people in this country that everyone, for whatever reason, I remember watching after those Oklahoma City, those tornadoes went through. I saw Wolf Blitzer walk up to some lady, and she was standing outside her house in all rubble and everything. And he said, man, I guess you just got to thank God. She was like, do what? I don't believe in that crap. Yeah, see, just like when Pat Tillman got buried. And I don't know if anybody saw this. This was probably the most ratchet, illest thing I've ever seen, period. And you would assume that it happened at a black family. No. Straight white boy. White tee and hammered drunk. Pat Tillman's brother. He had a white tee on. He was hammered drunk at the funeral. Sarah Palin and John McCain decided they wanted to show up, right? They show up giving their speech about, well, the one thing we know is Pat's in a better place. His brother spoke last. He was like, F all y'all. My brother didn't believe in none of that crap. He's not in a better place. He's dead. He was hammered drunk. Everybody was dressed up. He had a white tee on. It's like we can't, like this can't be that. where it's somehow more egregious because of where it happened. It's egregious nonetheless. If he did that at a mall, or we still have, or do we? I'm asking this question very, very earnestly, not being a smart ass. Are we having the same reaction, or is it because of this historical black coach? And Rob, you know how I feel about that whole thing in 2015. Let's move on. Let's progress. Like all these people who holler out racism needs to end, I don't believe them. I don't believe half of them. And I've told you guys why. The guys I think one of the first things I saw this morning was Al Sharpton. A picture of Al Sharpton, and I think the caption said something about how appalled he was about what happened. Look here, man. I'm going to ask you and everybody else, whoever's listening to this question. If racism ended today, what the hell would Al Sharpton do for a living? What does he do? Anybody know? Where he preach at? He's a reverend. Where the hell he preach at? Where? Where's church at? Where's church at? When the last time Jesse Jackson did a sermon? The reverend.
A church.
Get the hell out of here, man. These dudes, man, they profit. My point is, they profit off of things that have to do with race. And when things like this happen, you see their face. Small things happen. You know, anybody remember Gennaro Wilson? That kid? The kid that went to Douglas High School, went to jail for 10 years. You know when Al Sharpton showed up? What's that? Oh, I'm glad I got. What's that white lady's name, dude? She's always at the radio station. The lawyer. What's her name, dude?
Oh, the one that had the boys against Eddie Long.
What is her name? I always tell this story, but I forget her name. Rob, you know her, dude.
I know her.
Anyway, think about it. Think about it. She's the lady who put together all the things to get that dude out. But when they had the press conference, guess who black ass was standing up there? Yeah, man, I'm good, dude. I'm so good on everything. Like people claiming to be out of the race game. Nobody wants racism to be a thing, but nobody want to talk about it.
BJ.
Thank you.
BJ is her name. Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk
BJ
about
Bernstein.
it. Nobody wants to have dialogue about it. Then stuff like this happens. All you gonna do is light candles and sing hymnals. Hell out of here, man. That ain't nothing changes with that. Because what'll happen is next week a new news cycle will happen. Anybody know what happened to the kid that shot at that movie theater a couple years ago? Anybody know? Anybody know what's going on with that?
Oh,
no,
I remember he went to court.
Yeah,
he got seen it.
Is it over?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many people know that? You know why? Because you don't care anymore. It's out of the news, and the next thing happens, and it'll happen with this too. And I think that's my biggest frustration. Like where everything now has to be a meme of something. Like I saw something today. It's like a Klansman and I guess a dude that's supposed to be like a thug, black thug playing chess, and the black dude got a gun and the Klansman got a knife. It's like, what is this proving? What is any of this proving? That you can be clever about a situation where people lost their lives. I don't even know where they got killed at. Like people who had families lost their lives on in the name of just stupidity. Like, this ain't, and to compare this, like, oh man, this is just like what happened in the 60s. Nah, that was systematic too. Because everybody was in on it. The police was in on it. The Klan was in on it. Hell, the Klansmen were a part of the police. This is one idiot. As far as they know right now, it's him. And this is the other thing I want people to be very, very, very cautious of trying to be the first one to know everything. Because as things go on, I don't know what's going to happen with this, but as things go on, details tend to emerge. You know, this kid, why this church? Why this night? Why these people? There may be no reason. There may be no reason at all. But what I know of the black church, it's not the most progressive place when it comes to people having alternative lifestyles and beliefs. This is what's known. This is not something that I'm making up, right? So I don't know anything about this kid's past or who he is or where he's from. Like I said, I'm ignorant to the details of what's happening. Y'all heard me earlier say.
Now here's something. All right, I don't know if you saw the picture, but I actually have posted it to my Instagram account of the young man standing. He looked like he was standing out in the woods, and he had on a black jacket with these flags on it. And
right, and one of them was like the South American or South African flag or something like that.
South African, right. So basically, what I read was that one of them is for the apartheid era South Africa, and the other one is for what's now known as Zimbabwe, but it was called Rhodesia.
Mm-hmm.
And Rhodesia was known for white supremacy in South Africa. Like that was the main place where white supremacy had its biggest following in South Africa. So and then he had a Confederate flag on his car. So I think this dude was just. I think he was gone, man. Like
let's clear up something too. And by the way, Matt, yeah, we know that he stood up and said. I know what he said, but I'm talking about like to assume that's the only reason something like this happened. Like I said, he could have went to a mall in Charleston, did that. He could have went to a high school, summer school. He could have went somewhere else and did it.
Yeah, but see, that was this other story that I heard on CNN where they were saying that he actually had gone to a mall and went to a Bed Bath and Beyond and was asking the people, and this wasn't today or yesterday, but he went in and was asking them, like how many people worked there and what time did they leave and all that kind of stuff, and they became suspicious of him and called the police, and they ended up getting a restraining order from him from the mall because they thought that they thought that something was suspicious about him, and then he got caught trespassing at the mall again. So, and that was at the Columbiana Center Mall, which is in his hometown of Columbia. I guess that's Columbia, South Carolina, or Columbia, North Carolina, one of them. But
more than likely,
but yeah, this dude. But like I said, this dude was just. I think he was just psyched out, man.
Well, I mean, I think, yeah, that would be the easiest way to go. But let's understand, this kid is 21 years old. He's born in the 90s. You feel me? This kid is born in the 90s, and he got this much hate in him for black people. Where'd that come from? Where is all that at? And I'm a person who.
Well, South Carolina is one of those places, man.
Well, I'm not gonna do that either. I'm not gonna do that.
Oh, I will.
I've been to South Carolina. And, yeah, that's cool. That what? 15 years ago.
I mean, from
that's to assume no progression happens in places.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean,
because you can say that about Atlanta. Atlanta got burned down, at a certain point.
Yeah, but I'm saying though, I mean, it's kind of different, man. And I'm not blaming all the people of South Carolina or saying that all the people of South Carolina, but it is the South, and it is one of those, like, it is one of those states, where
what does that mean?
Racist. What do you mean? What does that mean?
What is one of those states?
I mean, it's one of those states where you still have the whole, I'm not gonna say white power, but it's a lot of racial things that occur.
Oh man, it's America.
South Carolina.
It's America. What do you think that ain't?
Okay,
what do you think that's not?
Okay, Mike. I'm just saying that it's a little bit different up there, man. That's all I'm saying. That is, it's a little bit different and a lot different from Decatur too.
Of course it is.
I'll just say that.
That's like saying a dog is different from a dinosaur. Of course it is. I don't know, man. We just gotta we gotta just everybody. That's what I'm saying. We. I don't mean black people. People. We gotta do better, man. We gotta be better. Like, this is not me blaming anybody for some deranged dude running up in somewhere doing something stupid. But then, once these things happen, I'm always I'm always concerned and paying attention to the reaction. And whether it be younger people, whether it be people of a different generation or whatever it may be. These things they tend to at times fuel a fire that doesn't need to be fueled.